My people were biologically determined for one purpose alone, to sense the coming of damn fine podcasts. I sense it coming now.
Right? Yeah.
I'm with that.
All right. Yeah. Let's get Discovery. It's like I gotta take a big crap and the back of my knees are starting to sweat. That's how much I need to talk about it.
All right.
You will never be able to podcast as good as us. Your tongue is too human.
Hey! Sorry. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Discovery Home Companion, your home and your companions to talk about Star Trek Discovery. We just watched the first 2 episodes, and we're excited to talk about them. I'm sorry. I'm very excited. But yes, let me explain who we are again. With me is James Nolan.
Hey, guys.
Hugh Crawford.
Hello.
And my name is Wade Bowen. I'm sorry, I should have said that earlier.
He's got so many takes to give, and he just doesn't know where to put them.
Yeah, I got so much love to give, and I don't know where. Yes, but anyways, okay. Deep breath. Yeah, we're going to talk about Star Trek Discovery.
Yes,
right?
We watched the first 2 episodes, which aired tonight. And as always, here is our IMDb description for episode 1 of season 1 of Star Trek Discovery, entitled The Vulcan Hello. While patrolling Federation space, the USS Shenzhou encounters an object of unknown origin, putting First Officer Michael Burnham to her greatest test yet. That's followed up by Battle at the Binary Stars, which is all the fallout from her greatest test yet, basically.
There's no IMDb description for that one?
No, there is no IMDb description for that yet. I mean, all of us, it is Sunday night as we are recording this, and all of us turned off our respective browsers and watched it in almost real time.
Right.
We're very excited to talk about it tonight. I think we're going to do a roundtable discussion where we discuss some pros and cons and kind of recap these first 2 episodes. So, James, you want to hit us up first with 1 pro and 1 con?
So, let me get this right. What happened in episode 2 is there was a battle at the Binary Stars, and shit went down. Okay.
And I guess, spoilers. Watch the show before you watch the podcast, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Heavy spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the show, like, why are you listening?
Michelle Yeoh dies.
Yeah.
And I don't think any other non-red shirt died. The Klingon that we spent all day with.
Tukufma. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We called her dying, and the Shenzhou
Connor dies too. So, yeah.
The ensign.
A lot of people, 8,000 and some odd people die. But
Sure.
Yeah, but it's like
bloodbath.
James, you want to hit us with your first pro and first con?
Let's do it. Do we want to each do a pro? Everybody round robin's a pro, and then everybody round robin's a con?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, hit it.
I'll do my first pro. Let me see here. I want to make a difference between in writing. There's I think we all kind of know that in writing there's plotting, and then there's script.
Right.
Like the actual things that people say and how the actual scenes are shaped.
Yeah.
I'm gonna differentiate between the 2. But with my first pro is going to be I think this is pretty tightly plotted. I liked how it was outside of that first little weird scene with the bug people. That everything was sort of building towards this one event. Every scene was, all of the backstory stuff was sort of shaped towards that. There wasn't a lot of getting to know you stuff. Michael Burnham's relationship with the captain and Saru.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're both sort of very much tight into plot elements that were going on at the time.
You're kind of dovetailing into what my first pro is, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, there might be some overlap.
I liked that it was on such a fast track.
Yeah.
And that there wasn't a lot of bullshit. And I mean, bullshit can be good in shows. Like, it builds characters.
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of the place of a lot of characters, but this wasn't like that, and I liked it. It had a feeling of a sense of momentum.
Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, but from what I just sensed from what you were saying, that you weren't so keen on the cold open bug people planet, which
no, I'm not saying that. Well, I'm not. Again, you have to introduce characters. And you
the turn on that cold open was spoiled on all the photos and all the commercials.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't, that was kind of a cool moment.
I
mean,
agree,
That was
yeah.
it's the level of corniness I want out of my Star Trek.
Yeah, like that. That's exactly what I was gonna. The cold open was like classic Trek. Oh, we're on this planet, and we've got a situation. They deal with what was the rule that predates the Prime Directive, General
Order 1, I believe.
General Order 1. Yeah, so I guess the Prime Directive hasn't been established because it's like don't fuck with
It's
people.
the Prime Directive's granddaddy, I think.
Yeah.
Is what
Right.
It is. It's General
because
Order 1.
I think it's trying to be that because I don't. If I'm, I might be wrong on this, but I don't think they say Prime Directive in TOS.
Oh, they might not.
I think that's a Next Generation thing, or maybe a movie thing. I don't know the history of the Prime Directive.
Maybe I don't quite. I'm sure somebody nerdier than us could.
But to be clear on my point, I forgot to admit that I do think that I'm not trying to be like a con here, but I do think that the plotting, there is elements towards the end that I don't like that I'll talk about later in the plot. But no, the bug people are fine. It wasn't a part of the plot. So
no, which is perfect for a cold open because it's just introducing the series and it's like, oh, this is Star Trek shit. Remember Star Trek shit? And the whole, Delta Starfleet sign in the sand was like in the promos and stuff. It was like, this is fucking stupid. But in context, it was like, oh, that was kind of cool. It makes sense.
Yeah, I thought it was a really nice touch that they probably leaned on a little bit too heavily in their marketing material. I hated the way this thing was marketed. Yeah. And actually seeing how the next on for episode 3 showed a lot more of the direction that the show's actually going to go in.
Yeah. Because all the marketing material was all from this
Con Air in space.
Right. Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so Wade, do you want to go ahead with your pro?
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. My pro, I don't know, man. I'm an emotional cell. Like, you can if this were the Phantom Menace, I might have still loved it. I don't know. But I was just so excited about, I don't know. My biggest pro is just to have a Star Trek show on the air again and have it not be awful. Like, if this were the Orville, I'd be pissed. But
we have a controversy. We have disparate opinions on the Orville.
I don't hate the Orville. Well, I think it's a bad show, but I enjoy it.
I don't think we're not going to get into how we feel about the Orville on this forum.
This is not the place.
If they want to, there are places that the general public can find out about our Orville opinions.
This is true.
And so, but okay.
I'm sorry.
More to your point that you're happy that you feel like this is a honest to goodness Trek. This isn't some sort of iteration that you're going to be unhappy with.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I'm sorry I brought up that whole Orville thing.
That's all right.
It won't happen again, I promise.
No, I wasn't. Yeah,
but,
cool.
Yeah, and there might be caveats in what we're talking about, what Trek is and stuff, but this hit all my buttons, so I don't know. It was, yeah. But yeah, all right, so that's a positive. I'll wait to backhand what I just said in a minute. All right.
Yeah. Right. My first positive right off the bat was the character work. It really felt like you could, and it kind of ties into what James said, is this actually could have been an anthology show. Like, we got all we needed to know about the characters and the relationship in the first 2 episodes, and it managed to still have weight by the time the second episode ended and the captain died, and it still had an emotional resonance to it, even though it only took the span of 2 episodes. And having that compact plotting mixed with the character work makes me feel like this thing really was like a framework for an anthology show. And it shows how, to me, you could do that season after season. And it's kind of a shame that we don't get to have this experience this time next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this started off as an anthology. Brian Fuller got out, and then they made it clear that it's not an anthology anymore. Sort of what happened to Stranger Things, but that happened. Stranger Things was a different scenario because the fans, the fan response was so overwhelming that they could sort of demanded to see those characters in another chapter. But how they got up and running with their characters so quickly was a strength for me.
Yeah, I like that too.
Actually, I think it was the key to the success of these first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And I guess we should point out that there's really only 2 characters that are going forward, right?
Yes.
I'm going to assume that the Torchbearer is too, so maybe 3.
Oh yeah, Vulcan.
Yeah, we saw the basically the origin story for what I assume to be the albino from Deep Space Nine's granddaddy.
Oh my god! I've got a blood oath against you.
Yes, yes.
That albino is going to become a raider at the end of the series.
Now wait a minute. Now, do you guys saw that albino, and that's not the first thing you guys thought about with the albino?
No, you're so much smarter than I am, Hugh.
No, I did. I wrote it down.
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
I was like my albino Klingon.
No, that is most definitely that albino's great granddaddy or something, right?
You know what? I really hope so. Because otherwise, I thought maybe they thought they were too clever by having like a race thing with the Klingons. Like, oh, they hate
the white people. But
yeah, it's a mirror, right?
Yeah, I mean, most races and species historically kind of hate albinos.
Yeah.
Not us, though.
I
we
think
love you, albino.
I think
I love it. Yeah.
I think that the sense that I get right off the bat is that all three of us like what we've seen of Star Trek Discovery. Like it's a good.
James. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Do you have something that? Yeah, I think we know.
All right. Well, let's get into the cons, then, James. That's a good segue into your first con. James.
Okay, so we're doing one pro and then I'll do one con. Okay. I thought why I separated the two between scripting and plotting. I thought the scripting was pretty cringy at times.
All right. Yeah.
I thought it was really. I thought the bug people were really explainy. I thought her narration of seeing the torchbearer ship or the light ship. I thought that was. I thought I hated everything about it. I hated everything she said.
Okay.
I hated that it was so writerly. It was very writerly.
Oh my god!
And then at the end, when she gives that little monologue to the people on the review panel, I'm just like, okay, we fucking watched. We've been with you the whole 2 hours.
Yeah.
So why do you have to say this?
Okay.
Just say no. When they say, do you have to say anything else? You just say no, and then that'll be fine, and then we can move on. But they have to. Whoever was scripting this overwrote every bit of dialogue.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. Well, I might disagree with you to a certain extent, but only in the second episode. But not to just totally cut you off and lead into my con, which was actually similar.
No, I mean, I think it was probably network television fine. Yeah. But I hated everything about it.
I actually, that was my con too. Actually, it was basically the same thing that you're talking about, except it was mostly for the first episode, because if you pay attention to the script, like the first episode especially, like I thought the second episode was slightly better dialogue-wise and everything.
I think I did too, until that long little monologue, which, like, fuck you.
Yeah,
just say no. Just say no. It's cooler. It's better. It makes your main character more of an enigma instead of a preacher. Like, just say no.
Yeah. I kind of didn't like the Dark Tribunal at the end of the second episode.
Yeah.
But how many lights are there?
Yeah, there are 4. My big problem actually was in the first episode, because if you look at the story was by Brian Fuller, but the script was by Akiva Goldsman.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because that was my thing too.
Oh, that's who we have to blame for that model.
Well, at the end, the second script actually was by.
I'm certain it was both certain that I'm certain that one of those two because that's your last thing. One of them wrote it. I don't care who got credit for it. One of those wrote it.
The second episode was not Akiva Goldsman.
Yeah, but
the screenplay. Yeah, I know they all.
David Chase wrote every episode of The Sopranos.
Yeah. But it was by the showrunners. I feel like they had their script in. It was by Aaron Herberts and Gretchen Berg, which most of the second episode I liked, but the first episode especially was full, like what you were talking about, where like when she gets into the jet suit and flies around, they have a fucking airplane joke.
Yep.
Where he's like, where the guy's doing the voice. I was like, come on, man. This is
that was a little bit cheesy.
Yeah, and to me, it was like totally Akiva Goldsman, because I hate Akiva Goldsman. Cat's out of the bag, everybody. I think he's a hack.
I don't think you're out on a limb there with the general populace.
Yeah, because Brian Fuller wrote the screenplay for the first episode, but to me, that just screamed Akiva Goldsman going to dumb it down, do some like.
I almost thought it was like.
We have a temperature of.
I take it as like, I don't know. I spent a lot of time in creative writing classes. It's like the kind of creative writing overwriting that everybody does when they're young and dumb and have no experience, but are trying to fill things with meaning that you don't understand. And one of those, like, it's like spirit made of stone and all of that stuff that she's trying to describe it. It's because the writer wanted to write. Everybody likes to write,
Uh-huh.
and had fun with it. And because maybe they didn't trust that the visuals would prove it right, which, to be honest, I don't think they didn't ever give a wide shot. They didn't ever give it.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been more awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
But it was just sitting there.
Yeah, her monologue wasn't quite the.
Mm-hmm.
I took issue more with the voiceover when she was going off and the like. Oh my god, the ensign. I think it was the ensign that gets spaced in the second episode in the brig. I think it was him doing the voiceover, maybe.
Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Connor.
Yeah.
You really bonded with this guy. I didn't even know his name.
I was like, fuck this guy. He gave this. This is the captain. You will have.
He comes in acting like a linebacker into the brig, and I thought that was someone who just had a linebacker who just got his bell rung. And,
Right. CTE is a real problem to everybody.
What was interesting to me was like, I don't think I've ever seen like the effects of a concussion so accurately depicted in any science fiction show ever. But they spent like 5 minutes on this dude's concussion, or what felt like 5 minutes on this dude's concussion. And I guess maybe it was just so you're shocked whenever he gets sucked out to the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
Because you actually think that you're seeing like what's going on. It like draws you in. I don't know. I kind of like that. I liked Connor until he got sucked out to space. So Wade, does the shitty writing, is that what your first con is, or do you?
Yeah. That was The plotting, everything felt right and everything, but I don't know. It felt like a little hammy, but I saw his name and that might have soured the whole thing for me. Who knows?
You're admitting your own bias there.
Yeah. I will. I will totally do that. Yeah.
All right.
What is yours?
My was did not like the 3D phone calls. I know that it's cool.
Oh yeah.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It's practical. It makes sense for telecommunications that far in the future to be like that. But it doesn't take place. It's like I'm used to everybody speaking on screens.
Yeah.
And there's something about having, like, what, Kirk went back to screens? I don't understand. I don't.
No,
here's my problem.
Okay.
It's like you're going to set it in between Enterprise and the original series, or doesn't matter. You're going to set it before a show that takes place in 1960. You better do it. Don't, like, this felt like a half measure.
Yeah.
Like, you want to have it both ways. You want to have it set before, but you also want it to make it look
like a Marvel movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want it. Yeah. So I get like a mix. Like, I think you needed it. This is where Brian Fuller wanted to commit fully. He wanted people in velour.
Yes.
He wanted to have been weird looking, like, turtleneck sweatshirts.
Yes.
He would have made it look. He would not have had like 3D holographic people just chilling.
Yeah. Sarek just sits on the counter like as
the guy who played the Admiral was not Anthony Michael Hall. The guy who sat on the counter, the Admiral, was not Anthony Michael Hall, but he certainly looked like him.
I was like, how do you just sit down? You're a hologram.
I thought that was stunt casting for Anthony Michael Hall.
I was. That took me out of it. I got to admit that, like, the whole scene, I should rewatch it before doing a podcast about it, because the whole time that guy's talking, I'm like, is that Anthony Michael Hall? Is that it? I was so distracted.
It's Terry Serpico.
Yes, I looked
at.
Is
that really his name?
Yeah, I see that on IMDb. But my point is,
I'm just saying, Serpico. That's a badass name.
It is a badass name. My problem is it's a larger problem, because it feels to me that it's like a half measure of tone.
Yeah, like the hologram communications. I mean, this is nerd corner kind of like, and also, hey guys, if you don't know, we do a Deep Space Nine podcast called The Rules of Acquisition. And I mean, it's loose canon and everything, but I feel like it's a thing on the Defiant on Deep Space Nine where they talk about where they actually have the holograph communication between ships as like a new thing, which I understand, just like fuck it, but they go out of their way to say this is a new thing on the that we have that we didn't have before. But
I also think that, like, one of the things that I noticed about Enterprise is when it first started, I was like, okay, so the original Star Trek had these like cheesy gray wall sets that had no depth of color and no sort of they looked like everything was made out of cardboard and was made super, super, super cheap. And there was a lot of like weird sort of like 1960s wacky Batman 69 color schemes on a lot of things, gel lights, a lot of things that look cheesy and cornball as shit now. Okay, and so when they do Enterprise, they were like, obviously, the set can't look like that. But the one time in the episodes, and I think it was in season 2, where T'Pol goes on a Vulcan ship.
I don't know.
The Vulcan ships are made of gray walls. They look like that. So it was like it was its own. It was an art style that the Vulcans had, and so it sort of bridged a gap that maybe that 100 years from Enterprise or whatever, when Kirk was sailing, that things got a little more, I guess I hate to use this term, differently vulcanized.
Yeah.
That there was like an art design that the Federation adopted from the Vulcans.
Yeah.
That sort of was built into the design of the ship, and I thought that's what they were doing. And I did like seeing a modern show in these kind of cheesier sets. I'm not saying, I understand you're making a big modern space opera. You can't go back to gray walls and gel.
I understand that too.
Right.
But you have to do enough. And those essentially having hologram characters on deck with you it's a bridge too far.
And honestly, if you had big floating heads on a screen, it would have made it feel more like Star Trek.
Yes.
Yeah.
If Captain Georgia Lou had a little monitor on her desk that she talked to an admiral on, and here it is. You know it's Star Trek when you've got a white admiral who's just an asshole, basically.
right.
That's the most Trek thing about this.
Yes.
They have a long. I think now we could say every single Star Trek has had a white admiral be an asshole.
Who's a dick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I get what they were doing with the holograms and everything. I was like, oh, we want to have
also
these
having
scenes.
our black explain to the black girl, which is what he did.
What?
He did that, guys. He did that in the script.
That is something that totally happened.
Where he did what?
He black
He's like, I can't believe your people of all.
You of all people, your race issues.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess. I mean, when you put it like that, that sounds real bad. But he's.
It did. The look that she gave him was like...
Well, her parents were killed by Klingons. She'd be racist against Klingons. I get it.
I was going to tackle this with
the optics are bad. Fine.
I don't know, man.
I thought she was going to pull off her earrings and like...
Shit.
If you were made out of corporeal... If you were in corporeal form, I would...
No. Yeah, it's like...
No, when he got sucked out of his spaceship, I'm like, well, there goes one less Trump voter. That's fine with me.
Right.
All right. So I guess we ought to move on to...
Okay, so are we last pro?
Last pro.
Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, I thought she was great. And I thought she was... Obviously, we now know, I assume, unless she comes back as a Klingon, which we...
Oh, that goes in... That goes in...
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
I'm
Two, she's not a Klingon plant.
Yeah, no, that...
Yeah. I don't know.
No, yeah. So they've thwarted all of our picks.
Well, I don't know.
Well, it's not... Season's not over yet. I mean, half mine were about Captain Lorcan.
Yeah, we haven't even seen the fucking ship that the show's named after.
So anyway, I thought Michelle Yeoh for stunt casting was like a perfect mix of stunt casting, and it's not unlike Star Trek to do this. I mean, there's a way of looking at the original series that Captain Pike was stunt casting,
Or Kelsey Grammer.
what Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grams.
But I mean like the captain that dies or suffers early that informs the main character as they go forth. Like in the way that I guess that Thor was in the first JJ movie.
Oh, yeah. Newkirk's daddy. Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
And so I think that she was really great. And I really enjoyed everything about her. And I'm going to tie this into that. I'm glad that it doesn't look like this show is a mystery box. And that makes me happy.
Yeah.
So
Is that your last pro?
that was my last pro. I mean, I'm trying to marry them all together because when Michelle Yeoh dying, I felt like that killed the concept that the plot is a mystery box. It's not. We can basically know what the plot of the show is.
I don't know yet. We still don't know what the new...
It's a redemption show.
What?
Yeah, it's a
what?
redemption show.
Yeah,
redemption.
Well, that's fine.
But
it's not.
I still don't. I'm not sold that it's not a mystery plot because
Then
there's.
what's the mystery?
Well, we haven't seen the goddamn ship yet. We know that the Discovery has new way to fly.
Hold on. I think we got a different all plots devolve on mystery and intrigue. All of them, even like romantic comedies and kid movies do. There's got to be a reason to propel you to watch the ending. But I think that a mystery box is that like everything that like all of the situations that's happening to you is unexplained until you open the box.
Yeah, sure.
And
sure.
I don't think that's what.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We're at war with the Klingons.
Sure. But
with a newly reformed Klingon company, and she's got to reclaim herself, and it's going to be about like.
Well, they got reformed awfully easily, didn't they?
Yeah, well,
Those are some of the easiest going Klingons I've ever seen. Because I mean, we've seen all the Star Trek. we've dealt with Klingon. They're obstinate, stubborn people. I'm not being racist. I'm just saying that's built into they're obstinate and stubborn, warlike people.
I'm the Rachel Dolezal of Clintons. I'm with Klingons. I said Clintons. I meant Klingons.
Yeah.
Let's clean that up.
He's the first black president, right?
But I think that's
Sorry.
Oh man, I'm getting into that's not even my con. That was just something that just occurred to me.
I'm still not sold that it's not a mystery box because
What?
we haven't had even the next on.
Okay. The
sorry.
mystery box.
We're talking outside
a mystery box on.
Well,
it.
they've thrown out like she's like, what is the deal with the ship? We don't know because I don't know. We haven't seen what the show's.
The ship exploded.
No,
Discovery, her new ship.
the Discovery could be the mystery box. We don't know yet. You
That's
might
not
be
a
right,
mystery
but
box. That's not a mystery.
if the mystery is what is the deal with the ship, it's a fucking mystery box.
I think that defining a mystery box to like a mystery, which is totally different.
No, if it's what the Discovery has a secret, how long is it going to take for her to figure it out?
Okay, but
That's a mystery
what we've
box.
seen today, I don't know, but I'm just saying that the plot of the show is not a mystery box.
Who knows? I'm saying we don't have enough information to figure it out.
Yeah, we don't.
'Cause this was-
But I would say if I was going to put like a weather forecast on it, I think it's sunny with 5% chance of mystery box.
Yeah.
I don't think that we have a good chance at a mystery box. Saying it's out of the question.
I think the big thing they were trying to hide is that Michelle Yeoh and Takumva died in the first two episodes.
Sure.
Right.
Which we called.
And I can get that. I don't think that's a reason to embargo trailers, but yes, I get it. Because characters have died in 1,000 shows, and I've never seen them spoiled by reviews in Vulture. So I think.
Are we on to?
No. I've only had the pro. He's got a pro next.
Oh shit.
Okay, I'm losing track. That's why I'm.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a little heated.
I know.
That's all right.
Getting a little hot under the collar.
Because I think that you have a very broad definition of mystery box.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If the mystery is what is the Discovery's secret, that's
It's a
mystery
fucking
box.
ship in the next episode. It's not a mystery that's laid out.
No, I'm telling
It's not
you.
Westworld.
I'm just listen to me. It's already been established that the Discovery has a new way to fly and has something to do with fungus or something. I'm just saying there's still
Fungus.
Yeah.
But they could easily lay that out in the first 5 minutes of the episode.
They could. I'm saying
Captain Lorca spends the first 10 minutes talking about the fungus that makes his ship fly.
it's got something to do with Adam Rapp. I'm saying there's a potential for them to still do that shit. I'm not ruling it
But
out.
there
That's all I'm doing.
Okay, we're not ruling it out, but there's no evidence in the.
All right.
What is the deal with the ship? That's all with her saying that. But yeah, you're right. We talked too much argued about mystery boxes.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
So, what is your next pro there, Wade?
Oh, okay. Oh shit.
Are we on the pros or are we on the cons?
Yeah, I just said my last pro. Michelle Yeoh and
Yeah.
she's awesome in her death.
Oh yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Her death, I thought was going to end a conversation, but began it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble because I didn't have time because I just came straight from watching the show because I was on board with everything.
Okay, if you loved it, then it's not going to be that hard. What's another thing you loved?
That's it shouldn't be so hard for me. Is my point.
Yeah.
Because it's all general emotion for me. I don't have specifics, which is maybe a con.
You want us to come back to you?
Yeah, come back to me.
You?
My pro was the Klingons.
Yeah.
I thought they were weird and alien, and I wasn't at all bothered by any of the Klingon stuff. And the fact that I wasn't turned off by the Klingon stuff is a pro enough for me. Like I thought the Klingon stuff was great. I mean, I'm kind of joking about them being easygoing. They're not really that easygoing. That was kind of a joke because they go out of their way in so many other iterations to make them seem like awful people. But I mean, if you look at all the ship design, I mean, I was never crazy about the ships and the looks of Klingons before. I didn't give two shits before. I just liked the stories. So this one was fine. I mean, I don't want to go back to the Christopher Plummer look, right? Of having just a little bit of a silly mustache and one dollop of latex on on a bald cap. So this was. The Klingon stuff was fine.
I like the Klingon stuff too. I'm with you on that.
And here's another weird pro. I kind of like the font of the translations. I thought it was nice. It was easy to read. And
I did too. And James told me that I was totally wrong, and it killed our friendship. I think on Twitter. Is that right?
And I agree, you were totally wrong
about the font.
But
you guys talked about the font on Twitter.
To keep with format. Wade's got a pro coming up, so I'll let him do his pro.
Oh shit! Okay, can I just agree with all your pros?
Yeah, you can. We can move on to the last con, and then we can talk about some other general stuff at the end.
Okay, I got little minor cons that I didn't like, but they're small details.
I've got
okay. So big picture con is okay. So there's things that I liked about the Klingons. Minor lights. I thought that they worked very, very well into the story, and I was kind of compelled into the story about the concept of bringing unity by picking a war with an appropriate enemy. That part didn't bother me. How they were used or utilized in the script or where they're going from here didn't bother me. There's not a story thing that bothers me. So I realized that what I'm making is essentially an aesthetic complaint here.
It's the opposite of everything I just said.
I hate the Klingons. I hate the Klingons. I hate them. They're boxy.
You hate their pointy heads.
No. I hate I hate that they're stiff. I hate that they don't. In a combination of making them speak in this made up language and putting all of this ridiculous shit on their face, around their nose and their eyes and stuff like that, I felt like that I was completely removed from them. I'm having to read this Bookman old world font that's white on top of messy.
I liked it.
And I hate, hold on, let me get it all out. And I hated that they can't move, that they don't fight with any sort of ferocity or movement.
We're getting to my con.
And they're in all sort of they're in these just giant fucking weird tight things. I don't know.
It did feel like they couldn't move very well.
I like that. Okay, so I get in history. I get that the Klingons have not had a very clean history. But when I talk about the Klingons, I'm talking about the Klingons as they are.
What we talk about when we're talking about the Klingons.
When we talk about Klingons, we're talking about the Klingons that are represented from Worf being introduced on. And some of the stuff, yes, Christopher Plummer is bitchy and they afforded him, but the way the Klingons were dealt with in 6 and from Worf on is how I like the Klingons. It's a world. It's a very complicated and enriched world. And they didn't fuck with the Vulcans. The Vulcans look and act exactly the same. They fucked with the Klingons. So I feel like I can be bitchy about that. I feel like that they do change them. Klingons are fun. Klingons tell jokes. Klingons are rowdy. Klingons are bikers. They are bikers with a warrior ethic. And these guys were none of those things. They were alien in a way that the Klingons never were. And so I felt like there's not a funness to them. They were almost too severe and religious.
Yeah.
And
well, we saw
it was a different alien race. It was a different alien race. But on the other hand, if they had made them exactly the same and called them the Vorkati or whatever.
Not the Vorta, that's different.
Name, that would have irritated me because they were so similar to Klingons. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a clean answer for that, but everything about it bothered me. And I think I think the fact that I could never get comfortable in the scenes because they spoke in this choppy ass language. There was no humanity that was really coming through in their faces.
Yeah, that's my thing is that being able to work under the makeup is key. Is a key element to Star Trek character work. I say that all the time because when
they had that lame ass fight at the end.
Okay, well, yeah, that was my con. Yeah.
I liked the makeup find. I would have liked to have seen a few when they have the other 24 houses on the holograms. I would have liked to see some that looked more human because of the augment virus or something. My perfect world would be if they just said, "Oh, the leaders of the houses all look like Klingons, but the peons and the lower classes, more of them look like humans because they got facial hair and augment virus bullshit." That would make my day. I would love that shit. I would forgive everything. I don't think that's what they're gonna do, but that would be nice.
I guess what you can do is make them look like fucking Klingons. Make them fix you. If you had changed Sarek's look, that would have been an apostasy to Trek. And I think that I
actually think that this is basically things aren't the way that you're used to and you're bitching about it.
Yeah, because they change the Klingons all the time.
I'm saying that no, but I'm saying that they're fundamentally different. Okay, yes, but not after they built their world well. Yes, they don't look like Worf doesn't look like he belongs on the Trouble with Tribbles. But after they developed them as a race very well, and hours after hours after hours after hours of TV shows we make podcasts about.
Yeah.
To go back and fuck them up in a weird way is jarring to me. And
I don't think I think there are bikers that were probably 200 years ago had Puritans as ancestors. I don't think it's that the harm is not irreversible. I think because it takes place in a different time, and you've got a different sect of Klingons interpreting their culture in a different way.
Yeah,
it's just different. It's just, it's not like you're not dealing with post next generation Klingons here. You're upset about it. It just happens in a different.
One of those people.
They're
in the House of Kor. Kor, a character we've seen.
I'm sure
Kor, a character we've seen 10 years later.
I get your issues. I just think you need to just let it go because that's not what this is going to be.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what to tell you, man.
I'm just saying it bothers me.
Like, I would love to see like a few like Klingons with facial hair. I think if you go listen to the preamble podcast we've done on this show, I've said that I would love to have like a few like hairy Klingons or something. I don't think that's going to happen. And you know what?
I don't think so either. This is the way they look.
But I can accept it. It doesn't take me out of the story enough to where I can't enjoy it.
Oh, I said I think they work fine in the story. I'm saying that aesthetically it bothers me.
Yeah. Well, then it's fine to bother you. Yeah, but it just...
We'll allow it, is what Wade's saying.
I'll allow it, but...
We'll allow you to be bothered.
But...
yeah. Oh, am I getting a little bit holier than thou? I do.
I'm all about Wade. Next week, Wade's gonna find two new fuckers to do this show with, and we won't even know. Yeah. But yeah, I think that I see where you're coming from, but you know what? That's like what I liked about the Klingons before was never their hair or the fact that their uniforms looked like upholstery from a doctor's office.
It's their personality, and they don't have that either.
Right, but
I liked.
They don't. They're very self-serious, religious, and. But that's just one. Like we're still the inside circle of basically like a cult.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
these are all the classless.
It's a different aspect. We're seeing a different aspect of a race, I guess.
But you're right. But I will. If it changes in another podcast, we'll talk about it in another podcast. All right. But this is about the podcast for the 2 episodes we just saw.
Okay, but I want to talk about what I liked about the Klingon, like Tecumseh. I liked his whole like, it was a little heavy-handed with like, I'm black and you're white and everybody's racist against you. But I liked this sarcophagus ship that he'd built up. They bring up in the plot that it was just like he built it. He took this ancient ship that was a piece of shit and kind of built it up and basically built a cult. But it was all a cult out of the outcast people who like they don't have a good house. Don't have a good house, yeah.
Right.
And even the people that he brings together.
I sound like Mater from Cars whenever I say it like that. But there's a more eloquent way to say that they come from an insignificant house. Don't come from a good house.
Mm-hmm. It's like he got all the rednecks together. Mm-hmm. But even some of the rednecks he got together was like, we don't like that white guy over there. And he's like, oh, he's
Would
cool.
you say he got a bunch of deplorables together? He got a bunch of deplorables together.
Yeah.
And
but instead of being he got all the deplorables, but he was like, hey guys, we're not going to be racist. I like this albino over here. And he's the new...
I don't know. I think he's like more of a... Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
They seem pretty like make Kronos great again.
Oh, they're definitely
their whole
on that
monoculture. Point. Yeah, they're on that tip, aren't they?
Yeah, and I like that. And that like I said, that as a function of plot is great.
Yeah.
Like that's a great plot line.
Right.
So there's nothing about and even if let's say that what's his name, Tecumseh, even if he was him and the albino, if they were very serious, on a ship full of rambunctious like Tony Todd style Klingons and Gowron and Martok style Klingons, that would have been. I would have got that. Okay, so these guys are self-serious. These are different. These are not a normal type of Klingon. But that's not the way they were represented. They were represented that basically his personality was slightly modified over the years.
Well, that's just one house.
Well, we were in prose, but everything about this is kind of super serious, overly serious, maybe.
Well, no, we're in cons. So if you want that to be your con, then we can do
it. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
then
that might be a con because, it's slow too. Like we haven't even seen the ship that the show's named.
It is a little bit slow. I mean, there was action.
I like
the way I look at it is this is a we didn't watch Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
We watched a
this is a prologue too. Yeah,
we watched a preamble.
Yes, exactly.
We watched the part of War and Peace that takes place in the first Napoleonic invasion. Like we didn't watch what's going to happen. Like the whole book gets rerouted later.
Yeah.
It looks like to me that was where we're at. So we watched a movie that worked as a prologue to the show that starts next week.
Yeah.
Which I'm super cool with. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably Brian Fuller's idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
imagine if they got Edgar Wright to direct that first episode. Sorry.
was he on?
Well, apparently part of what pushed Brian Fuller out was he had a lot of conflicts with the director of the first episode, which was a guy that is like a TV pilot hack that just directs TV episodes.
But why did you pick Edgar Wright's name out of a hat? Was he
because Brian Fuller wanted to get Edgar Wright?
Oh, okay.
No way.
Yeah. That was his the guy he wanted for it, and they're like, CBS was like, no, we're gonna get this.
He had a completely different. It's obvious that he had a completely different.
Michael Burnham would have just been listening to John Spencer Blues Explained.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Then they got we're gonna get the guy that did the Madam Secretary pilot. Just chill out, Brian. He's like, no, and then they kicked him out. No, I don't know. I don't know if that's
so. Your beef is that the overall tone is a little bit self-serious.
It's a little bit, yeah.
It is. It is a little. It's
I'm bored.
Like if I was gonna have my 10-year-old kid watch it with me, she probably would be a little bit bored.
Yeah,
a little bit maybe.
Even though plotting wise, it was on rails. I thought
it was on rails.
There was no like extra.
Yeah, but you still want, like you said, we just saw a prequel. It's like we just saw
And I like heavy shit or whatever, like I'm not a person. I'm okay with Star Trek. Maybe with less whimsy than say, nope, I'm not bringing up that Seth MacFarlane show again. But
it's got a high.
But I can enjoy if it's done well. If it's done well, I'm on board with it because I like slow, boring things. I think, but that's not what this is so far. It's just a little self-serious maybe. But as long as it doesn't shit the bed, I'm fine with it.
I didn't actually watch the preview, which you guys seem to like by Con Air and Space. I assume that I got a feeling for what it is.
Yeah.
But what I missed on the next on. But I do think that you probably, because you didn't watch the cast. I mean, Anthony Rapp wasn't introduced.
No, nobody.
There's a lot of characters that weren't introduced, and Lorca. So I assume that I think there might be like a way that the tone of the show might be drastically different.
Yeah.
And the intense severity of this episode informs Michael Burnham's character and why she's such an insufferable, dour person. This might inform that throughout the show. And that way I like it. Yeah. So it might just be that Michael Burnham is a whole lot of not fun.
right.
And understandably so. She's got a lot of...
Yes, and understandably so.
She's seen some shit. And also she's part Klingon in her upbringing, so they don't have a sense of humor.
Vulcan.
I'm sorry.
Vulcan.
She's part Vulcan in her upbringing, so...
Christ, wait.
Sorry.
No, I'm joking.
You're right. You're right to jump on me there.
No, my con, just real quick, is I actually have two small ones. Michelle Yeoh's fighting at the end. You have Michelle Yeoh and you have that awful, like, that non-fight at the end. I mean, that was so disappointing.
You got Michelle Yeoh with a sword in her hand. Come on.
And I wasn't even worried about her. Because when they beamed aboard, I wasn't like, oh no, they're on be careful. There was none of that feeling. I'm like, that's Michelle Yeoh. She can handle any of these motherfuckers in here that she wants. But of course, that was not the case for her character she was playing. Mm-hmm. My second con is that fucking Lieutenant Saro's dentures clacking every time he spoke. That got on my nerves so much.
And can we talk about did he have quills come out of him when he got scared?
Yeah, I like that. He's like,
I'm not. It's just a thing. Part of me was like, make it clear what's coming out of his head, or don't like?
Yeah.
It seemed like it was like this weird blurry thing, and I was like, what?
It explains his face. He looks like if you shaved a cow, and he does look like it. He said his people were livestock, and that sort of makes sense. But he's such a tall, skinny guy. There's not a lot of meat on them bones. Not a lot of meat on the bone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If they were gonna genetically engineer a food race, make them fat like we do.
Maybe it's like that super proteins. You just gotta eat a bite and you're good for a week. so yeah, a lot of energy packed into them.
His body is made of pimicum.
Yeah,
guys, I don't want to get you too excited, but Memory Alpha says that Tony Todd is on the casting list of the studio, so he could get called in. He just said he confirmed that he could get called in as a casting. He's on the casting short list. Is what it says.
So they tried to get Michael Dorn to get somebody from the house of Moog, and Michael Dorn was like, "Fuck you! You're not paying me enough." And they're like, "All right, fine. We'll get your brother. We'll get Tony Todd.
We'll take Tony Todd, and then we're gonna give him 14 nostrils and give him a locust head, a locust larva.
All right. I just figured so they could fit all the hair that they have to stuff into the bald caps. But yeah, all right, James. Point made.
All right.
So do we all get our pros and cons out of the way?
Yes, those are all the pros and cons.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few minor details that I got.
Yeah, I have little stuff too. I just wanted to get these major. I wanted to lay down some markers.
Yeah,
because I wanted to say positive things that were definitively positive. Because I think my overall impression of this is, even if I wasn't doing a podcast on this, and even if it was about like some other show, I would watch episode 3 of this.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah, it's for all that nitpicking we just did. We're all on board. We enjoyed this a lot, right?
I am more intrigued than...
I'm on board.
Yes.
I think this is a good segue into a larger question, which is, who is this for?
That's an interesting
question. I asked that question because I thought about setting down my kid, who has never had any interest in Star Trek, and she's 10 years old. She likes all the Marvel movies. She likes sci-fi. She's expressed interest in the new Doctor Who because there's been a lot of hubbub about it being a woman.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Understandably so. Not interested in seeing like a 60-year-old British show about an old guy.
Yeah. Yes. As much as I love
around.
The Last Doctor, I wish he could be the Doctor forever, except maybe for little girls who wants to watch an old man be grumpy.
And maybe he can go back to doing Iannucci stuff.
Right.
Sure.
So she's very interested in the new iteration of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
However, she was not interested in this at all. But I was thinking, if she was interested, they actually explain very well in that first scene what Starfleet does. They show an example of helping a planet. You have an idea of what the Federation is and what they will and won't do and what they stand for and what they don't stand for. So it seems on the surface that it could be an introduction to new fans into the world of Star Trek. However, it seems by having it through CBS All Access exclusively that they're cutting off their nose to spite their face.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I think you're right. Like, it could be a way.
Are we going to move into? Can we talk about All Access?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm going.
I think it's a major element to the show. That
I think I have a few things to say just about the tone of the show for new fans before we get into the.
Okay.
Let's. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's a way. It could be an in for a lot of people that are excited about sci-fi and maybe even like women that don't see like the leads in sci-fi shows being women enough or whatever. I can't speak to that because I'm a straight white guy who gets everything I want.
Brag much?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying the world's shitty, man. I get it. But for a kid though, I wouldn't. This is not a kid show. I don't see that. I don't say that as like, oh, this is too adult for you. It's just kids will not.
I think that you have, if you've gone to see a Marvel movie in the last 10 years, right? You see Captain America beating the shit out of Iron Man and all the 5-year-olds crying. Kids these days watch some shit that just is not for them
Sure,
on a
sure.
regular basis.
Well, I always say that by the time I was my son's age, I'd watched RoboCop maybe 50 times.
That's true.
I would not show RoboCop to my son.
Sure. Well,
So-
but there's not the gratuity in this.
I had seen many movies with titties in it, and I wouldn't show my.
There's no tits in this. There's not gratuitous violence that
No.
I would have enjoyed as a kid.
All to its detriment.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like I mean, I would love to show kids to this. I just feel like they'd be bored by it. You know, I don't know.
And okay, so it's also not for the premium TV watcher.
It's not.
Like if they were trying to
Yes.
make FX's Star Trek, this isn't it either.
No, it's not.
It is very CBS.
Is it? Because I don't know if I agree with that.
Yes.
Oh, I definitely agree with that.
Yes, it's very CBS.
Okay.
First off, the line-to-line writing is atrocious, and it ends in a stupid fucking cliffhanger.
Oh, the cliffhanger
like,
stuff I do hate. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like
It doesn't end in a cliffhanger. It just ends, and you're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." Okay.
No. The first episode, the only one that aired on the only one that the majority of America got to see,
Oh yeah.
ends with like the Klingon ship showed up.
Yeah. I mean, but it
And
didn't
that's the
feel
next
like.
episode. Prestige TV doesn't do that.
No, it didn't feel
Premium
like
television
a cliffhanger. It just felt like it stopped. Is my point.
Yeah. No. Yeah, they don't do like a zoom in on everybody's face and then like, what are we gonna do?
There's a way to do a cliffhanger right to where it feels like the end of a chapter, and you're like, dum dum dum. It just like, oh, ships show's over, and then I was waiting for the commercial. I was like, all right, here's commercials, and like, let me get to. I know it's at the end, but let me just see the thing where they tease what's going to happen next, and it didn't happen. The credits started happening, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is weird. Wait, just show me the like close up on the captain's face, and she says, "We're going to engage the Klingons." And then the music swells, and then okay, well, I know the show's over. That didn't happen. They just like, boop, okay, it's over. It's like, okay, well, all right.
Yeah, no. So I don't know, like, okay, so did they make it for the super nerd? And then, like, not really, because, like, I'm bitching and moaning about the damn Klingons. So I don't know who this is for.
Well, I think they think that All Access is going to get carried by the large Star Trek base.
Yeah.
That obviously they think that everybody's going to shell out $5.99 just for Star Trek, because if you're not already, let's put it this way, CBS All Access has been around since 2014 with all their back catalog of old CBS shows. If you have not signed up for it by now, you weren't going to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only reason why I have a CBS All Access pass right now, or a subscription right now, is for Star Trek. And I think they're hoping by putting it exclusively on here that they've got all Star Trek fans by the short hairs, and they're going to make some good cash out off of it. However, their service itself sucks. I mean, I had to switch from my phone to my iPad.
Oh my god.
It was a nightmare. The app itself is garbage. Absolute garbage.
Oh, if we want to move into the app, yeah, I got apoplectic just trying to watch this. I'm trying not to cuss horribly. Like,
I will say that, like, if, and just FYI, I had no problems with the Apple TV. I'm not saying that as, like, I'm cooler. I'm saying that as, like,
No.
if that's an option for you to watch it, life hack, don't, watch it on the Apple TV.
Well, and I
didn't have a problem with it.
I got a tweet from a listener, Andy Webb, that was like, "Oh, it worked fine on the PS4, but my PS4 doesn't work." But I'm on an old model Roku that the app just sucks anyways, and it's awful. Like I spent like half an hour trying to get through the goddamn commercials, where I would get to the first commercial break and I'd watch it. It would get to the third commercial, and then the app would crash, and I have to start the whole thing over again. It would play till the first commercial and crash, and then
it wants you to see the commercials. The commercials
oh my god!
play flawlessly.
It took me out of the show. I'm reliving it now. I'm about to lose my shit.
Well, not to dwell on the subject too long. I'm just thinking my prediction that if this series is going to survive, I bet you they put it on actual over-the-air CBS at one point. That's sort of my prediction.
Yeah, you made that prediction in our prediction episode too. Yeah,
that's correct. And there's nothing that happened tonight to make me feel otherwise. Like I don't feel like today was like Christmas to a lot of us.
It really was.
And a lot of our listeners from the Rules of Acquisition have expressed how excited they were all day about it on Twitter. And we've been tweeting at a lot of fans. And it's a big deal to us. But nobody else gives a shit. Is the impression I get at the world at large.
Yeah, my world's pretty small right now. I took the week off.
I watched a lot. I've seen several tweets of just people that I follow through my normal Twitter stream that said, I turned in to watch it, and a lot of them said, more than us, said, I turned into it, meh, I guess I won't get to see the second half because I'm not paying $6 for it.
Yeah.
There was nothing in that first episode to make... Yes.
That's my biggest beef with it, is that you have a good 2-hour Star Trek thing that actually does feel, out of all of the critiques, it's actually pretty good. Why? And you had a TV network with people watch. I know that Mark Harmon's important. I'm not here to take away from Mark Harmon or Oprah talking to Trump voters. Both of those things are good television, I'm sure. You're CBS, you know better than me. But why air, to great fanfare and to an expensive budget, half of a movie?
Yeah.
Like, I think you think it's cute to tell them to go watch the second half on a fucking app, but I think that's an egregious misunderstanding of the modern American media viewer.
Right.
They're going to tell you to go fuck it, like go suck a dick.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that you say, why not give them a tasty meal and say next week we'll serve the next course instead of giving them half a thing.
Yeah. Because it really stopped.
Like that, it's too cute by half.
It wasn't like an episode with a cliffhanger. It was just like half a movie. Like it really stopped.
Yeah, it was so clearly engineered to drive people to the streaming service. No, I agree.
There's even
I think
a way
it's
to drive up to the cliff with a cliffhanger.
Okay, a cliffhanger. I'm going to use. There's that episode of Breaking Bad where they got to rob the train.
Yeah.
And they got to do all that stuff and get all the stuff from the train, and Fat Matt Damon's there and all of that stuff, and you don't know who he is or a character. You're like, why did they stand this character for this episode? And then at the end, and everybody gets out and they go to this big thing, and then like the kid sees him, and Fat Matt Damon shoots the kid, and like you're like, okay, I got a satisfying story, and then holy fuck, it was the holy fuck that makes me want to watch the next episode.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But I still got a tasty meal. I don't know if you're going to do that. But you gave someone a half a thing. Everything's leading up to a battle with the Klingons, and at the end of it, it doesn't happen. Go pay $6.
Yeah.
They're going to say, fuck you.
Yeah.
And you still haven't seen, even if you paid $6, you haven't seen the show's namesake yet.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, at least give us a taste of the ship that you're naming the show out.
And
you say Fat Matt Damon, he's Landry from Friday Night Lights to the rest of us.
Oh, okay. Fat Matt Damon.
Come on, oh, sorry.
Meth Damon? Is that what they called him during
It's
that
meth. They call him Meth Damon. Yeah.
Meth Damon,
Meth Damon.
on that show.
Landry. Sorry.
I need to watch that show.
I'm chomping at the bit to not make another Orville reference because Adrian Palicki is on Friday Night Lights with him.
Oh, is she?
Yep. She says Landry
like her.
a lot. She's great.
I like her a lot.
Oh, that's not the place. Sorry.
Not the place.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
So, I mean, I think this is going to be I still think this is going to be a fucking catastrophe for them.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I think you're right. I think the press release speech, they will not admit that it's a catastrophe for them, but they will talk up about how great they think they're doing, and then they'll cut it. That's how networks work. Oh, we were so excited about our release numbers.
I think,
and then it sucks, and they'll cut.
I think that.
So that's just how networks work. They talk about how excited they are, and then they cut things.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no, they're gonna overhype it and then then drown it in a bathtub if they have to.
Right.
But I think that Hugh's right. His prediction is right. I think they might get through this 6-episode run, and then they take a how long of a hiatus?
It's a long one. Not until the new year.
I'm looking at the dates right now. Okay, it goes off in 2017, and it comes back on January 31st, 2018.
Okay.
2 months.
I guarantee you, over the course of December, or over the course of Christmas, over the Christmas break, they will find a way to air those 6 episodes on television, or however many episodes. They will find a way to air that on CBS, and then they will also double air it. It's going to be super exciting, everybody. They're excited to say that they're going to double, but it's them going to be making a mistake. They are going to put it on CBS.
You want to bet a case of beer on that? I think maybe
that was Hugh's prediction. I'm just backing him up.
Yeah. You
I
might
think
be.
he's right.
You might be. I'm conceding they might air stuff in the interim, but that they do a dual release. I think they might air in the interim, trying to double down to get people to rebuy on the
I think
app.
that even if it's paid for, I know that.
I'll bet a case of beer on that.
Okay, I'll do it. I mean, I do think that. I mean, I do think that it's going to happen. I think that we just saw with the Good Fight. It's not going to save. No one's going to go to the stupid fucking app where you have to pay $6 and still watch fucking commercials.
No, but they'll get more than they have.
That's horseshit.
They'll get more than they have now and count it a win.
Yeah, but that's still leaving money on the table, and they're smart enough not to do that.
I don't know.
You have a thing that's going to get ratings on a Friday night. It'll get ratings. I'm not saying you put it in your good Mark Harmon time. But you put it somewhere near Mark Harmon.
We'll see.
Maybe after Mark Harmon.
I'd say we'll let it play out and see how it works. Because I don't know.
I didn't even know Mark Harmon was on television until today. It just seemed like they were very excited about Mark Harmon.
I don't know what you're talking.
I know you talk about Mark Harmon. I just know that there's a German Shepherd as a character on this new SEAL Force TV show. I'm like, is that show with Angel?
David Boreanaz.
It's got angel. It's got angel bones in a dog.
Yeah.
It's got angel bones in a dog.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
My grandmother will love that.
All right, guys. Well, I think we've picked over the bones of Star Trek Discovery, episode 1 and 2.
I've got some other nitpicky things.
Okay, go for it.
Sorry. No. I mean, it's all minor. This is where I get real nerd corner about it. The Katra stuff where they can, it's just like the Kelvin universe where they teleport across the galaxy, where they can do mind melding across to planets.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's fine, whatever.
It's been a long time since I've seen. Is that the Bones had Spock in his brain thing? Like, it's been a long time. Since I've seen it.
Where they mind meld. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
that is.
but it's the Katra. Is that what the spirit is called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can do it across distances is kind of weird and felt new, but whatever.
It's also very weird that mind melding is always shown in Enterprise as being like unconsenting mind melding is a euphemism of rape on several episodes. Several episodes of Enterprise.
I don't know. I never seen Enterprise, but I know that was a thing they made up, and it doesn't exactly. Well, no, Spock kind of rapes Kirstie Alley and the. Sorry. But
all right, this is we're getting way off track.
And then also it's weird to do it on humans, but whatever. But then the ethical protocols, I liked that, it's like your self-driving cars have protocols to not kill people. Even the ship has that when she shoots out of the brig. And then I did not like the dark tribunal at the end. It's like, why can't we just have some fucking light? Let her see her accusers or whatever. But that was the tone thing they were going for.
Yeah.
Whatever. I blame the director.
Yeah. In general, I think most of the third act, or most of the sort of last few bits sucked ass. I thought the aerial battles could be a little bit cleaner, crisper. I also think, and more interesting, but more importantly, I think that storming the bridge of the Klingon ship
was a little anticlimactic.
Kind of dumb.
If they had, like, I see what they're doing. Oh, they're dead. But I don't know. Would the story have actually been, well, we'll see in the weeks to come, but like, it feels like the story, it would be more interesting if they actually captured him like they said that they wanted to. And then how did the Klingons deal with that? I don't know. It felt.
I know. Is he able to turn the situation around?
Well,
yeah.
Then the series would be over.
No, because then you have to deal with the ethics or the intrigue of.
Well, the Star Trek universe would have to, but you wouldn't have Michael Burnham's story of having to deal with being the one that set off the powder keg of war between two.
Well, you could find ways to. She's still at war, and the Klingons are at war to get the guy back. I don't know. You could have. I don't know. It just felt like, hey, we're going to capture the. Oh, we're all dead. It's like, oh, okay, fine.
But then she would be the hero. She's damaged goods for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
If she brings that guy back alive with her captain.
Yeah.
She's a hero of the
I don't
Federation.
know.
The captain's got to die.
Happy-go-lucky.
Got to die.
Well, no. Say they brought the captain back.
Well, then that would be sad. But then she would still be a hero of the Federation.
No, what if the captain is like, okay, you brought this guy back, but you know what? You still broke the chain of command. You're still in the brig, and then you have some people like applauding.
Then it's Star Trek Oz.
Yeah. And then you get to deal with Star Trek morality of the Federation and stuff, and how they deal with chain of commands. I don't know. You're right. Fine.
Star Trek Oz.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a taste of Star Trek Con Air next week.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Anything else, guys?
I I don't know. I'm on board. I really enjoyed
I
it.
call myself excited about the next episode, so I am.
Yeah, I'm excited about Jason Isaacs. So bring on the Jason Isaacs. That's where I'm at now. I'm here for
I'm
it.
excited to see what the actual driving force and plot of the show is. I don't know. Sounds like a mystery box to me, but
It's a war with the Klingons.
is it though? But we still don't know what the big secret that the Discovery has.
yeah.
We know there's a ship we haven't seen, and it's got a big secret about how to fly differently than anything else.
It's kelp.
You act like it's going to be interesting. It's not. It's just going to be like...
There's a whole thing.
You know where it's going. It's going to the Enterprise.
No,
Geordi's already
there's
sorted this
you
shit
know
out.
we haven't even. There's a big thing about whatever weird fungus Lieutenant Stamets is into. You don't know anything about.
I'm going to go out on a... I'm going to... By the way, if this next episodes are about fucking fungus, I take it all back. Fuck this show.
Oh, it's in the fucking opening sequence where the big flower thing reaches after the cartoon of the ship flying away. It's fungus is a big part of this show, and there's some weird shit happening that they haven't had.
Oh my god, I hope you are so wrong.
I know you do.
This is just war with the Klingons.
Nope.
Like, I'm sure it's interesting. Is that not engaging enough?
It is, and then there's going to be some big
I feel
reversals.
like you're bought in on a mystery box. All of the things, everything that you would have said make this a mystery box.
What's Harry Mudd's deal?
You just named a fucking character.
I'm just saying.
Everything.
I'm just saying you don't know that it's not a mystery box because this is just.
But I don't know that
I think we saw
But
2
I don't-
hours of it.
Yeah,
But it's just a prologue. The
watched
show
the
hasn't
pilot.
started yet. We haven't met the ship.
Okay, I've watched
It could,
1 hour of Deuce. I'm pretty sure it's not a mystery box show.
this is different than Deuce, man. I, think
I don't
that's
know where
obvious.
it's going. I don't know where it's going. There could be fungus in the next episode.
I'm just saying.
In the Deuce. Oh, I'm sure some of those people in the Deuce have fungus. Believe that. I'm positive. I'm positive fungus is good. Some sort of fungus is growing somewhere in those cracks.
I mean, hell, I hope you're right. I hope it's not a mystery box show. I'm just not convinced it's not yet.
There is, but
Because these are the two scripts that Brian Fuller got to oversight, and then we got a whole new creative team writing the scripts after this, and so who knows where it goes? That's all I'm saying.
it goes towards a war with the Klingons.
You can do a mystery box and have a war show at the same time. What's the problem?
All right. Well, I think we need to table this and if you guys, the listening audience, wants to know how this conversation shakes out, you'll definitely have to join us next week.
That's true.
After we've watched episode 3. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little histrionic.
And Wade will be pointing to episode 4 is where they will open up they will talk about the mystery box.
I'm just saying, it's not a done deal that we know where the show is going, other than the backdrop of the war.
Okay.
Okay,
You were on the record.
Yes.
You were on the record saying that you're like there's a chance,
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I don't want it to be the case.
Is I don't know where the show is going to either, but it's true for every show I've ever watched ever. But I'm pretty sure there's not a polar bear.
Except for Westworld, we called that shit pretty
that's
early.
true. That was a shitty mystery.
That's what I'm saying.
That was the 2x2 Rubik's Cube of mystery boxes. But yes, I'm saying that. But it was clear that Westworld was a mystery box. It's clear this isn't to me. I don't know. But anyway.
All right, guys. Well, should we give out some information for folks who want to get a hold of us?
Oh yeah,
Wade?
we've got some stuff to talk about. Yes. Yes. If you want to tell me to shut up about the goddamn mystery box, give us a call at 917-408-3898. That's a hotline number we have. We'll take your voicemails. Tell us you're talking about Discovery Home Companion. We also take calls for our other podcast, which is The Rules of Acquisition. So
That's two podcasts with two different names. Is there a general name for who we are and what we do?
Oh, I guess, you know what? I guess this is as good a place as any to announce that, yeah, I guess the name of our little podcast network or whatever on iTunes that you may have noticed, we are Kickers of Elves.
Yes, we've decided. I guess the story is when we started, we were just doing the Deep Space Nine podcast. We were called Rules of Acquisition. That was good enough. Then we started this.
The show was called that.
Yeah, the show was called that. And then we started this, and we kind of felt like we needed an evocative name for who we are, because we want to do some other things down the pike. We're halfway through DS9 at this point. This show is going to be sporadically aired and close-ended, not open-ended.
Yeah.
So there was other things that we would like to do.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff that's not necessarily Star Trek even.
Yeah.
So
Yes, and we usually don't record that stuff, but
No.
sometimes we do.
Yeah.
So we're Kickers of Elves now, and that's important because
we have a Patreon. Oh shit.
yes, you knew we were going to start e-begging at some point, guys.
Right. We've been podcasting for a couple of years now and we don't make any money, but maybe you can support us at Patreon / Kickers of Elves. We'll have probably at least 2 podcasts a month, if not more.
It's going to be patrons only, right?
Yeah, patrons only.
Now,
You know,
I
it's
mean, like generally what happens is that we'll get on this call. We all live in different areas. We'll get on the call and we'll talk for about an hour about other shit going on, and then we'll record usually a Deep Space Nine podcast or this podcast. We're going to start recording that and putting out the important parts. So like things about like our theories on new shows and Marvel movies, we won't put that out there. But things where I talk about like my anal warts or like about my trouble like navigating Google Chrome, those are the things that we're going to put out there to make you pay for. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, everybody wants to know that. Our thoughts on the Orville. Oh, I'm bringing it up.
Thoughts on the Orville? That would be a lot of it. Yes. Right. And if you thought I was opinionated about Star Trek,
yeah, right. Can I tease to say that I like this more than the Orville?
Yeah, I think. Don't we have some things that are going to be going up soon for some of the early patrons, right?
Yeah.
That are made.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to be giving you extra content. So if you like us as people and don't just like us as people who talk about Star Trek,
yeah, check it out.
We have an avenue for you.
Yeah, and if you don't know us well enough yet, maybe you can learn to love me.
And I will say, as someone, Wade does a lot for this podcast. He puts a lot of time and energy in, and so
he does.
Yes,
and his own money too. So
yes, that's what I say.
I mean, I know it's crass to talk about money, and for some reason in this country, it's really considered like crass to talk about income and money. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that Wade spends a lot of his own money out of his own pocket to put this out. So, yeah, we're wanting to hopefully cover his costs and allow us to do some bigger things in the future.
Yeah. So keep this going and make it more feasible for us to stick around and be parts of your lives and you can be irritated at me on talking about other things.
Yeah.
Maybe Dune. You can cut that out if we want to.
No,
leave it in.
Dune. That's the most we're going to commit to right now.
And which Dune might that be? Well, let's just say all of them. All of it. Yes, all of them, all of it.
I might not be meeting more than one book, though. But
which Dune? Let's just say yes.
Dune.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So, anything else, guys, before we adjourn?
Yeah. You can check up on us on Twitter. Use the hashtag DiscoHome.
Yes, and that was actually really fun for us.
It was. I've
never done a hashtag thing.
Yeah, because our regular Twitter is at Acquisition Pod for the ROA podcast. But we're not going to do a new podcast account. We'll just use hashtag DiscoHome to see for this one.
All right. Well, thanks again for listening. Please come back and listen to our thoughts on episode 3 of Discovery. For James, Wade, and Hugh, thank you. And 3 to beam out.
This has been an ROA podcast.
All right.
Subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher or Caster or Fuckcast or Podsucker. Review us on iTunes. Also grab a bit of fame for yourself by calling us at 917-408-3898 and leaving us a message. We play that shit on air. Or email us at rulesofacquisitionpodcast@gmail.com. Also, listen to our Deep Space Nine podcast Rules of Acquisition. It is pretty amazing, but you may not yet be ready for its awesome amazingness. Assess your personal awesomeness appropriately.